In this lecture, we're going to go over our textbook chapter R.3. We're going to discuss rounding numbers, estimating, adding numbers, as well as looking at some data visually. So let's talk about rounding numbers. It's a three-step process, but sometimes it can be a little confusing. So what I mean by rounding numbers is find the closest number to. So if we have the number 11 and we want to round it to the nearest 10, is 11 closer to 20 or is it closer to 10? Well, 11's only one away from 10, so we would say it's closer to 10. So what we're going to do is locate the digit just to the right of the place we're rounding to. So if we're rounding to the nearest 100, we would look in the number that's in the 10 spot. If we're rounding to the nearest 1,000, we would look at the number in the 100 spot. If that number is less than 5, we're going to replace that number and everything to the right with zeros. If the digit is 5 or more, we're going to replace it and everything to the right with zeros, and then we're going to increase the original digit to its left by 1. So that's a lot of words, but let's take an example and work with it. So here's an example, 5,892. We want to round it to the nearest 100. First, we need to look at the 100 spot and find it. So 8 is sitting in the 100 spot. But we don't mess with 8 quite yet. We look at what's sitting to the right of it, which is the 9. And now we kind of run this test on the 9. Is it 5 or more? Or is it less than 5? So 9 is more, 5 or more. So what we're going to do is still turn the 9 and the 2 to zeros. But we need to increase the 8 by 1. So we'll add 1 to 8. So our final result is 5,900. Okay? But let's take a step back and not worry about the process and just think about this logically. Is 5,892 closer to 5,800, or is it closer to 5,900? Well, it's 92 away from 5,800, but it's only 8 away from 5,900, so it does make sense that we would round up in this case. Let's try another example. Let's take 3,742 and let's round to the nearest 100th. So you may want to pause the video and try it on your own first to see what your result is. But I'm going to go ahead and continue here. So first we find the 100 spot. It's nice to see what we're going to be rounding. Okay, so the 7 is the 100 spot, but I don't touch it yet. I have to make my determination on if I'm going to round up, move it to 3,800, or keep it at 3,700 by looking at the 4. So the test is it 5 or greater, or is the 4 less than 5? 4 is less than 5, so we're going to change the 4 to 0, change the 3 to 0, but we're going to leave the 7 alone. So 3,743 rounded to the nearest 100 is 3,700. And let's just look at this kind of visually on a number line. Let's say that it looks like right in the middle would be 3,750. Okay. So in this case, is 3,743 closer to the nearest 100, either 3,700 or 3,800? Well, it's certainly closer to 3,700, so that's our answer, 3,700. But we do have this nice test to always round up or round down, and we wouldn't have to write it visually. Now here's some numbers I'd like to have you try on your own before I reveal the answer. So what I'd like you to do is take the number that's on the left and then round to the nearest 10, 100, and 1,000 and see what your result is. So go ahead and pause the video, work those out, and then come back to the video to see what the answers are. So if I round 6,914 to the nearest 10, I find the 10 position, which is the 1, look at the value next to it, which is the 4. Is 4 5 or greater? No. So we change it to 0 and leave the 1 alone. Let's take a peek at the 100. So I find the 100th position, which is the 9, go 1 to the right, which is a 1. Is that value 5 or greater? No. So I change the 1 to a 0, change the 4 to a 0, and leave the 9 alone for the solution of 6,900. To the 1,000th. So I find the 1,000th position, which is the 6, go 1 to the right, which is the 9. 9 is 5 or greater, so I add 1 to the 6 to make it a 7, and I change 9, 1, and 4 all to zeros for the result of 7,000. So I'm just going to go through and reveal the other values and think about what is changing. So 8,485 rounded to the nearest 10th is 8,490. 8,485 rounded to the nearest 100 is 8,500. And 8,485 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 8,000. So now you can see what's happening. 5,555 rounded to the nearest 10th is 5,560, and so on. Now 1,234 rounded to the nearest 10th is 1,230. Rounded to the nearest 100 is 1,200. And rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 1,000. Now the easiest ones are when nothing really changes. The number is 3,000. Rounded to the nearest 10 is 3,000. Rounded to the nearest 100 is 3,000, as well as rounded to the nearest 1,000. Well, it is 3,000, so that is the closest 1,000. Now that we've learned the process of rounding, we can now start estimating values that we either add up or subtract or multiply. So let's take a problem. And this problem, it's not too difficult, but it would take us some time to add up each of the columns from right to left and find the exact true answer. But let's think about estimating what the true answer could be by rounding it to the nearest 1,000. So 5,940 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 600. 2,675 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 3,000. 432 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 0. So our choices were 1,000 or 0, and it's actually closer to 0, so we're going to round it down to 0. 1,350 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 1,000. Now this is a much more simple problem than our original problem. So 6,000 plus 3,000 plus 0 plus 1,000 is 10,000. Now let's think about this again. And try, try estimating it to the nearest 100. Now go ahead and stop the video and try that. And then once you're done, go ahead and start the video back up. So if we round to the nearest 100, 5,940 rounds to 5,900. 2,675 rounds to 2,700. 433 rounds to 400. And 1,350 rounds to 1,400. If we add these up, which is still a simpler problem than our original problem, we get 10,400. Now here's the interesting thing. How good were our estimates? The exact answer is 10,397. I think our estimates were pretty darn close, especially just by estimating to the nearest hundred. We were only 3 off. So I would say they're pretty good, both of them. They're pretty close to the true answer. Think about when you would use estimating and rounding in the real world. Think about, hey, if I need to add up a whole bunch of products in my shopping cart, isn't it a lot easier to round and then just add up, $1, $2, $3 than 97 cents, 63 cents, $4, whatever it may be. It's a lot easier to do that in your head than it is to add up the exact amounts. So think about where you would use this in the real world.